So I think if we think about the purpose of the top guy, my job is to put weight on hands, break them forward, and turn them, right? His job's the opposite. He wants to get weight off hands, get hips underneath him, get to his feet. So if I can adjust and make that harder on him from the get-go, so guys that I struggled with were guys that were like short and explosive and could get weight off hands very, very quickly. So turn the other way, all the way. So a couple little things, and these are just little mechanical things that can make a huge, huge difference, especially when we're watching film and can see like where my knees placed is super, super important. So I see guys get set on top and their knees pointing up. Well, right now, my power is set to go up. That's what he wants. I don't want that, right? I want him weight on forward on his hands. So I need to adjust just like I would be driving off an attack. Hey, knee pointing forward, hey, driving up his butt towards the hands. Another little adjustment is I need to have my chest a little bit higher in the starting position. Obviously not so much that the ref's gonna caution you, but I think about the source. I want weight on palms. So the best source I can give for pounds per square inch is on top of the shoulders. All right, so my shoulder, usually especially the side I'm on, is almost directly on top of his shoulder. Okay? Chest is a little bit higher in the starting position versus I see some guys start like this. Well, yeah, no kidding, he got weight off hands right away because there's no weight there. So just even making a small adjustment of my chest being a little bit higher, I think makes a big difference. Last little mechanical thing that helped me a lot, especially with those really explosive guys. So my tight waist hand, rather than it being just kind of just where it is, and you can see there's a little bit of a gap between my forearm and his leg right here and his hip. That's not going to be very good. I want to actually control this guy's hips, okay, and then I want to actually create leverage too if I go to a thigh pry. So my bone here, the outside bone on my forearm, is going to be glued to his hip. So I think about almost buckling him. I'm not bumping him, otherwise the ref's going to stop it or caution me. But I think about my forearm getting attached to that hip bone, and then I rotate in to the belly button. So I feel like I actually have his hip locked in. That way I'm not going to struggle with that explosion right away. So all these little bit of pieces put together, chest higher on top of his shoulders, and then me kind of locking that hip in, like I slow him down just enough, like we're talking milliseconds, that's going to help me off my start and keep him forward on his hands. But with that, when I was talking about leverage, I like to go thigh pry. So I'm a big tight waist chop guy, but I'm going to thigh pry just the waist hand. I'm not going to do double. Okay, but this inside one, is going to go thigh pry here, and my chest is just pushing him forward, and my knees driving up his butt, and then I'll transition to a chop. Okay. But if I have spacing here, my thigh pry is not valuable. It's not creating enough leverage. It's not really doing anything. So me just settling that back to his hip makes a huge, huge difference. Okay, so a lot of times my start will be here, and then I'll go to my chop. Something else, another start that I might do is instead of knee driving up his butt, I'll actually let it fall off to this side off the whistle. Okay, so whistle blows, I'll actually slide knee to this side. The only reason I do that is so my arm gets longer. So my tight waist hand, rather than, and I'm sure you guys have some athletes do this, that their chops are like, they pull. Hey, I want to get this tight waist deeper, so my start's actually going to go here, so my shoulder gets deeper, and then I'll come back on top and drive and chop. So I'm just doing that quick little start just to get my shoulder a little bit deeper and let my tight waist hand slide all the way to the side of his body. Okay, then I can start going to work here. One more little trick I want to share on top. A lot of guys like to get wrists as kind of their purpose. In college, tight waist chopping to get a wrist is really, really difficult. Face forward. Easy little trick is same thing. My shoulder's kind of on top of his. I like to snake down the arm. My thumb is just going to go on the inside of his thumb in the web, okay, between thumb and index finger, and I'm going to grab all four fingers. Okay. So that might be where I go right away. Instead of going chop, I might go here. Okay, capture four fingers. Now I actually want to take weight off that hand. Okay, and I can use my elbow to bump too, but once I control these four fingers and this outside bone, I can really manipulate his hand however I want. Okay, obviously I don't want to keep weight on the hand anymore. I'm just going to pull it back. Again, I can use my elbow if I need to, but then I'll just go feed it across. That's a good little trick. I think that works really well. Okay, pull it back, feed it across.